welcome to Utuntu's Magazine Talk Show. It's me, Tisa. It's good to have you on this beautiful Friday. And joining me on set is Mabel, the beautiful Mabel, as well as an awesome guest who is a friend to the show. She is a mental health activist. We just passed Mental Health Week and you should look her up. She's also an economist. She is a financial advisor. She's also passionate about mentoring young people, helping discover themselves. And I'm just so excited to have her on today. And it's no other than Thabo Joy Masiye. So today we're at Shares Cafe. As you can see, this beautiful environment is so serene. And as we get into the conversation today, we're going to be talking about 8 lucrative ways that one can come up with to make income. So join me as we take on this conversation. We're talking about money today and ways to make money. Talking about money makes me happy. I don't know about you, maybe.
We all do.
We just money itself, but talking about it and ways to make it it makes me happy. And we've had so many concepts and philosophies concerning sources of income, how many one should have, what is a source of income, and people usually get confused because everyone defines it in their own way. And I'd just like to hear from you, Thabo. How?
I think just put it as simple as possible. It's just income coming in. Could be regular, it could be temporary, but it's just income coming in, and which is actually very important. And you've mentioned something to say sources of income. So it could be through employment, it could be through interest earned by selling something, maybe lending money to someone. But so long as income is coming in, that's actually a source of income.
And there are people who, when filling out forms of source of income, they won't count informal jobs. They just think as though a source of income is you wake up, go to the office with a pay slip. Usually that's the thing that comes to people's mind. And what would you recommend when it comes to multiple sources of income? What's your take on that?
First of all, I'd like to tackle the part where you have said people think the source of income is just has to come from employment. I think for a long time, and I understand why, because for a long time entrepreneurship wasn't something that was valued. Entrepreneurship was an alternative when you failed to go to school, when you failed to find a job. But now we've realized to say entrepreneurs are actually living their life. They're the ones who are enjoying life. They are waking up doing something that they love every day. And it's a situation that we want to make normal. When people say I'm an entrepreneur, you say it with passion, and people shouldn't think, but you did economics, but you went to school. Why are you an entrepreneur? So now when we come to sources of income, you don't have to have just one job and rely on it. And this comes with security of income, because if you have one source of income, what happens if you're fired? Even the best get fired. The company could run into debt and then they say, okay, sorry, we can't continue, and this is what's happening, so what are you going to do? So it's good to have sources of income, multiple sources of income, because then in case something happens here, you have somewhere to stand on. Also, it's if you want to be a billionaire, having multiple sources of income is actually a start. To be a billionaire on one source of income, very few people do it. Or just from studies, the average millionaire has about 7 sources of income. So now when it comes back to you need to think about it. What are my sources of income? And I know you start thinking about big businesses. No. It's simple things as having a formal job, that's a source of income. You plaiting someone's hair is a source of income. You being in a village banking group is a source of income because you're earning interest. Also, you can borrow money from that village banking and lend it to someone else and earn an interest. And also just for the fact that you can buy shares in a company. And I think these are certain talks that we don't have as young people. You can buy shares in ShopRite. You can buy shares, or you go to Saka Stock Exchange, buy some shares, and you can make money in your sleep. And I guess that's what they mean when they say making money in your sleep. It's giving money to someone else to go and multiply it for you, and after 5 years or so you come back and you get that money back.
Okay. And you mentioned, me and my girl Mabel here. No, but how we get there just like doing one job, and then you've mentioned 7. So now I'm wondering, because when it comes to multiple sources of income, like I said, in my head it's jobs and you have to be present. But then you've mentioned you can give the money to someone to manage it for you. So how do you manage all the streams of income? Like, how are you in check with everything? How does that work?
I think the first place comes in the discipline. We haven't trained ourselves to understand, so this money came from Tisa, this money came from Mabel. I can't mix the two. So the money from Tisa will pay my school fees, the money from Mabel is for my lunch. You need to develop that type of mentality where you know to say when money comes in, this money is for this. That's why even when it comes to running a business, you have to be independent from your business. You even have to pay yourself a salary so that you don't chew the money that's coming from the business. So you need to know to say, okay, I have to have this. So you sit down, you say, these are my sources of income. If you're still living with your parents, they're a source of income. Your boyfriend doesn't count as a source. I know. No, and I know maybe he might, but you have to create reliable sources of income. And it's easier to rely on them if you're the one who's in control of them. And not a situation where I depend on how you feel when you wake up and you say, Thabo, here's a 500. Maybe today you're like, I didn't like how you talked to me, here's a 20 kwacha.
Use your confidence when you have your own money.
Yes. So it starts from there. So for young people, it's important, especially while we're young, to identify what we are good at. And that's the best way to first build a source of income, is you yourself, away from school, away from your degree, your diploma. What talents do you have? What are you good at? Maybe you're a great speaker. Why don't you start speaking engagements and charge people, teach them? That's a source of income. Or maybe you're good at organizing events. Why don't you tell people, I organize birthday parties. Come and join me. Let me make something for you. That's a source of income. So you start to develop all these things, but it comes to self-discovery. You start to understand. And once you know what you can and you cannot do, then you can say, okay, so this business can help me grow to start that business. So now you start pushing your income to grow other sources of income. So now you discover to say, okay, so I'm not good at money management. So I'll bring in someone. So you bring in the bank and you say, I would want to save money in the bank and it will earn X amount of interest. But now we've discovered that village banking is actually earning more interest as compared to banks. So you do your research and you say, okay, so let me do village banking. And I'm also in village banking, and sometimes what I do, because the purpose of village banking is to borrow money and make sure it earns interest. So sometimes we have excess money. So what I would do is I would borrow that money, lend it out for a few days, earn some interest and pay it back. So you see, it's just So it's just the way in which you have to be smart about it to make sure that there are risks involved, of course, and you have to know the risk around it. So not everybody will pay you back, but you have to create a way in which money keeps coming in. But you also need to know, so when money comes in, you need to identify where it goes. And this is why planning is important and discipline. Some people say, how can you take a vacation in such a hard time? I have money that comes from here that pays for a vacation. I remember last year I was telling my friends, I'm starting to save up for my birthday. So every after my birthday, I put a 500 kwacha aside every month for my next birthday. So by the time it's the next September, I'll have like roughly 5,500 as a starter for my birthday. So it's something that is long term. So you have to think about it long term. And that's the thing about income and discipline around money. It's not cheaper today. It's about what you're planning for tomorrow and the days to come. So it's discipline where you just say, okay, so this money that comes from here, X amount of money, it will never be used. It's for something in the future. And when you create what money should be used for, you work hard for what that money should be used for. Don't just save money and hope something will happen, hoping you see a nice shoe or something like that. No, you have to save money for a purpose, because then you work hard towards it, and you'd have calculated how much money you need and how much money you need to make every week to earn that total amount.
We just go with the flow. It's calm. What are we going to do? Okay, they're here. Okay, but that is so true. And you know, there's just how the excitement comes when you get money. It's like all the plans you had when you're broke. If all the ideas they just go. I even have cravings. Like my cravings shift everything.
Start craving for seafood.
Exactly. So how do you? Because you've said a lot of things, and one of them that has just really stood out is planning. So how do you plan for money that hasn't yet come, and how, if you have, like, let's say 4 sources of income, how do you just monitor all that and just make sure the money is going where it's supposed to go and everything is in place? Because like I said, when the money comes, the excitement comes as well.
I actually find it easier to plan when I have no money on me. Because then my mind is focused on productive things. When money comes in, that's when the cravings for the seafood comes in. So I have an Excel sheet. I use Excel for everything. So I'll put tab 1, let's say maybe there's income that comes in from, maybe I sell you clothing, so I'll put TISA every month. You always buy from me something worth 500 kwacha. I'll put this TISA here. Maybe I sell makeup. I'll put income from makeup. And of course, when it comes to income, you're deducting the indirect cost, the direct cost, and you're only picking now the profits that you're making. So that's what you're saving from each. And I know sometimes when we sell a product, we think that is the profit. No. So there's the issue of transportation, when you called your customer. So you factored in all those things. So now you have a table, an Excel sheet. For me, I use Excel. Very easy. I have an Excel sheet where I put in, I record everything. And now with mobile money, I would say this money should always go in MTN mobile money. This money should always go in FNB. If it's my salary, it should go in my Zanaco. So once you split your money like that, it's even easier to manage. And likewise, it just goes into one place. And when it comes to the cravings, I give myself an allowance because I know I love nice food. I love nice things. So if I say my personal expense on Thabo every week is 500 kwacha, I will put that 500 kwacha in my purse. I normally withdraw it as cash so that I'm seeing how it's disappearing. Swiping to me is quite hard because you just keep swiping, you don't feel it. But when you're paying cash, you're seeing how the 100 has gone, the 200 has gone. So it's about managing everything and just balancing up. But the main thing is just being disciplined and knowing which income comes from where and where it's supposed to be, and keeping a books of accounts, just the basic books of accounts. This money came in from this one, it went out, this is how much is left, this is the interest I earned, like that.
That's something that ladies especially and gentlemen, we should always take into account. Planning before the money comes is very, very important. And just, look at amount something
for yourself. No, you need that fun money.
She's explained very well. You've given us an insight of what financial literacy is all about. You've given us your own example of how you budget, see where money is coming from and how you're going to spend it. And talking about internet, degree, college, and then there's so many people out there who are good writers, good listeners. And what I mean by a good writer, these are people who can just sit down, do a very nice report for you or an assignment. I'm not supporting that you actually do these things when you can do them back.
No, I did assignments. I did assignments in school for people. And I know sometimes school can give you so much pressure. But I did what I could at that point to survive. I know it was wrong. I know I was promoting someone else's child to be lazy. But it's a source of income for me. And if you're smart and you can use your knowledge to make money, why not do it? Although we're not encouraging people not to do their assignments, but it's something that you think about. So you're thinking outside the box, and it's a good way to think as a student, to say, okay, somebody's unable to do their assignments. There's people there's the mature who are working, and they don't have the time to do their assignments, so you can actually help them out.
Even internet, there are people who are good writers. They can think in a critical way, political way, but very interesting. They can manage a social media page very well. These are small things which you don't even need a degree for. No universal, college training, but just your passion, your interest, and how you can manage the whole thing and actually earn an income. So all these small things actually can help you out there earn an income.
And just to say on internet, when you talk about YouTube is like, I call it my university. Because I think I've had a couple of shows with you where I talked about how I started my jewelry business on YouTube. I actually woke up, I came home, like I started in Uganda, I came home for holidays, I couldn't find a place to do my internship. So now I'm thinking, internship doesn't pay. What more coming to look for a job? If me just sitting in their office, they can even send me to go and get coffee and something doesn't work. So when I went back, I said, what can I do? I need something that can just earn me income, because being broke is frustrating. Being jobless is frustrating with your papers, because your anticipation is when you graduate, you're going to find a job. And so now when you don't find a job, it's very frustrating, which is the same as being broke at the same time, because now even your creativity is disturbed. So now what I said, okay, let me go on YouTube. Then I came across a video of some lady making jewelry. And I went back to town, and East Africa has like a wide market for jewelry and bead making. So I bought the instruments and I would copy what they're doing, and I learned. And from then I realized you can learn anything by just watching. So then I started my own jewelry business. When I came back to Zambia, I was selling jewelry, and I kind of modified it to say it's custom made jewelry, where I sit with a client, you tell me, oh, I have a red dress, and I say, bring the red dress, let's bring the jewelry, which one fits more, how long do you want it to be, do you want it to be short, oh no, my neck is like this, okay, so if your neck is, well, how do you want it to be? So you make the client feel a part of the design. By the time it's out, they'll say, we made this with Thabo. You get my point? So it starts from there. It starts from identifying what you can do, but also don't feel afraid to go outside the box and teach yourself something new, because that's how you learn. And I always say this to say your 20s are your time to discover yourself. They're not mistakes. I hate it when people tell somebody in their 20s say they made a mistake, they did this. No, it's a self-discovery journey. That's where you discover who you are and what you can be. And when you reach in your 30s, now that is fire time. It's now time to explore. It's now to go globally. So whatever you do in your 20s is self-discovery. Don't be afraid. Jump off a cliff. Do whatever it is you want to do. Not literally jump off a cliff.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to try out singing, to try out modeling, to try out fashion, anything that you can try. Just try something, and then you find out what you're good at. But if you sit and you say, all I can do is sit in an office, how will you know? Those are people who wake up, they come and sing at church at their 40s, and you're like, what? You could sing? You're like, I actually didn't know. Even you didn't know, because you've never tried it. So it's an opportunity for you to keep learning about yourself and just discover yourself.
Talking about age, most people actually there's this notion to say life starts at 40. So I'm 20, I'm thinking all I have to do right now is work, save up money. When I'm 40, that's the time I'll start traveling the world, seeing what is on the other side. What's your take on that? What do you
I think when they say life starts at 40, what they mean is you'd have lived and tried everything, and your 40 is a time to relax. So by life they mean explore the world, not have you finished the document? Are you done with this? No. So you have your 20s to discover yourself. Then you have your 30s to run the race now. Make your money. By the time you're 40, you need to tone it down. You need to start relaxing now. Not you're in your 40s, you're now looking for your PhD. I'm not saying, but life happens to us differently. And you run your own race. But what we don't want is you're in your 70s and you're still pushing hard to find a job to do that. No. You should give yourself a timeline to say from 20 to 30, no chilling, no what, it's hustle. From 30 to what is now investing in real businesses, because I've tried out everything in my 20s and now in my 30s I'm smart enough, I have the experience, so now I know what I'm going to do. And now in your 40s, income just comes in. You're just reaping what you had sown from the time that you were young. But live each day. Whatever you're doing today, you need to do. Because I don't know if I'll be 40. So what happens if I die today? Does it mean I never lived? My life never started? No. So even as you are discovering yourself, you need to enjoy it. Because we talk about tomorrow. No one knows what tomorrow is. No one has ever been there. So you have to live for today, and you have to make today count. And that's what makes a happy life, is making today a happy day. Because then you have a lot of happy days. So if I say today I'm going to be happy, I won't let whatever you're going to say bother me. I won't let, and I carry that every day. It means I have a happy life, because every day I wake up to say I'm going to make the best of today, and you make the best of it.
Yeah, that's nice. So I was thinking in my head when you mentioned to say you need to give yourself a time plan. I feel when you look at the man and the woman, the way they're built and the expectations out of life, a man naturally, people can debate this and say he's built naturally to actually work. For a woman, you're nurtured to actually be, somebody's wife and mother and everything. So whatever you'll be doing in your 20, your target will be to actually achieve that person, to be a mother, to be a wife to somebody. So to some extent, I feel women somehow kind of, deprived in certain areas. Not because of their gender, but because of the expectations of what, people are looking forward to see from you as a woman, and also to see from you as a man.
I disagree. I don't see myself as an equal to man, but I see myself as somebody who coexists with a man. And so if I'm going to let society define what Thabo can achieve and what Thabo can do, then it means I'm depriving my own capabilities. So men, yes, when we look at our culture, and we respect our culture, men are highly respected in our culture. And a long time ago, our mothers stayed home while our fathers worked. So we need to understand where some of these notions come from. But now we're in a different society, things are expensive. You really can't depend on one source of income. So now we have our mothers working at the same time. We even have women who earn more than men, but it doesn't mean it demeans them or for their status in society. But one thing you need to know is that you exist as an individual. And if you're going to let society label you and tell you how far you can achieve or how far you can go, then you've accepted that little box. But you need to understand to say, what you bring to this world, no one else brings it.
Yeah.
And if you don't bring it out, no one else will ever will. Just like Les Brown says, the richest place in the world is a graveyard, because people die with dreams.
Yeah,
People have books they've never written. So it's up to you to either get to your deathbed and say, I wish, or get to your deathbed and say, I'm done. I did it. Yeah, so it's totally up to you. Totally up to you.
I feel motivated. No, I really do. Because, I really do, because, we've seen men going to an extent of saying, you know what, when I have a wife, I don't want her to work. My money is enough to sustain all of us. And the wife comes in and she follows that. Meanwhile, you've got a brilliant idea you can actually embark on, which can actually help bring in more money and sustain the both of you even better. But like you have said, times are difficult now. Anything can happen. A company can go, out of business. Things happen, and it's so unpredictable.
Yeah. But also relationships are different. That's what we need to understand. Yeah, and that's why you need to agree with your partner. Before you even get married, you need to say, I want to be a stay-home mom. You make it clear. I don't want to work, and he should decide. But if you say, no, I want to work, I'm not going to stay home, he should decide. Also, we're not saying people who work from home, it's a different thing. No, it's an individual, it's your choice. It comes back to you what you want as Mabel to say, this is what I want to do with my life. If you want to be a stay-home mom, well and good. If you want to be working, well and good. If you want your husband to be a stay-home husband, that is your agreement, and people shouldn't judge you about it, because that's what the two of you have decided to do. So at the end of the day, it's about finding what you can do, or finding people who can do it for you. But it's not about society telling you what you're supposed to do, because then how many people do you have to listen to? Yeah.
No, there you have it. Find what you can do, or find somebody who can do it for you. I hope you're learning something and getting inspired as well. For now, we go on a short break. We'll see you on the other side.
We're at Shares Cafe today, and the environment, guys, it's just peaceful. The view of the pool is just, it's warming, and it's just comforting. Even as we talk about money, and I'm just budging here. But guys, do check out Shares Cafe whenever you're in Kablonga. It's a very beautiful environment. They also have a gallery inside and the backyard where you can host parties and brides and weddings. So please do check them out on Instagram. It's Shares Cafe Gallery.
Art gallery,
yeah.
And their food.
So please do check them out, and we'll just share the social media handles as well at the bottom of the screen, and give them a call. You really have to be at this place. So we're going to continue talking about money and ways to make money. So earlier on, we've talked about village banking. We've talked about doing assignments and also managing your multiple streams of income. So now let's get into it. How do you manage? Because some people do Ulendo now.
Yeah.
So how do you manage a full-time job? Because you have to commit to your boss and also side hustles. How do you?
I think one thing that we've established is either you do the work yourself, or you find someone to do it for you.
Yes.
So I know for most people how they run Ulendo is they go to work and then they find a driver. So they're at work from say 8 up to lunchtime. If they don't have kids, they don't even need the car the whole day. So instead of having the car just sit around in the car park waiting for you the whole day, you can find a driver who can be the Ulendo guy and who drives around the car for you. And for most of them, after work, then now they take over, and the other ones who are driving around and actually making money. And then there's also the aspect of weekends. So it's about using your assets and just making sure they're bringing income for you. So even while you're at work, you can start a consultancy type of business where you help people to say, okay, what are you looking for? Maybe based on your specialty, based on what you've studied, or maybe it's, let's say you're an accountant, and you can help small businesses put their books in order.
Yeah.
So that doesn't need you to travel from your office to go and see them. All they have to do is send you the information, and you can work on it. So what we're trying to promote is just not to stick to one source of income, but to see how you can have multiple sources of income, but also to understand what that money is for, because once you identify what it's going to be used for, even your effort is actually greater, because then you need to know how much you need to raise X amount of money to do this. Let's say you're getting married and you know your salary alone can only buy your wedding dress. So now you start to think of other, okay, let me buy second-hand clothes, and now thrift, they're now called thrift.
Yes,
the
thrift.
fancy name.
Yes.
So now there's a thrift aspect where you take pictures and you post them, and now you have the delivery bikes that come in, so you don't have to get to your customer. Now there's now people who are being middlemen to help your business thrive in a way, while they are also making an income. So you need to think of it that way, to say, I don't just have to sit and have one source of income. I need to think of multiple sources of income, and what I can't do, I should help someone else also earn income by giving them that opportunity to run that event for me, or to run that errand for me.
For someone like you who has quite a number of things going on, how are you efficient in all these places? Because I mean, for you to get paid that money, you have to perform, you have to deliver. So how do you manage?
And I think this is very funny. Everybody thinks I have a lot of things that I do. Actually, no, I don't.
Okay.
I actually don't. I do 3 things. I do fashion, I do entrepreneurship, and I run. I just do 3 things in my life.
You maybe run working out?
Yes, like working out.
Okay.
So that's like mental well-being. The exercise, I'll put I'm going to put it. So I have the speaking aspect, the speaking engagement.
Yes.
And what do I talk about? I talk about entrepreneurship. I talk about fitness. I talk about mental health.
Yes.
So when people say you do so many things, I say I do one thing. I just do them in different surroundings.
Yes.
Because let's say I do speaker engagements, and then I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm a mental health activist. So if I speak about mental health and I speak about entrepreneurship, I'm not doing multiple things. I'm just talking about the things that I do.
Yes.
And something about doing what you love, you don't get tired. You don't need an alarm clock. It's something you enjoy doing. I enjoy growing brands and growing people. I enjoy having conversations. I enjoy leaving somebody feeling better than I found them. So to me, it's a fulfilling moment, and you don't get tired when you do something like that. I used to have a full-time job, and I knew how I hated Mondays. And I remember when I quit my job, I told myself, when I start working for myself, Monday is a holiday, and Monday is a holiday. Though sometimes life happens and you have to do something. But the fact that I hated Monday so much, I made it my holiday, because I wanted to give that back to myself, to say, you know what, Monday is not a bad day after all. And I discovered something. I never used to plan my week. And it took me planning my week on a Sunday that I loved Monday, because Monday only hurts when you don't know what you're doing. So you wake up, you get to your table, and you're like, what do we do now? So it starts from there. Just love what you do, find what you're good at, and polish what you're good at. The biggest mistake we make is we like to focus on our weaknesses. How can I improve this? How can I improve this? And you leave less time for the things that you're really good at. There are things like, let's say, if you give me a topic, I will talk about it. So I said, why not focus on something that I'm really good at, that needs less of my effort, that makes me feel fulfilled? So I said, I will invest in that. And even with sources of income, it starts like that. It's things that you're good at. If you can plait hair even with your eyes closed, why don't you focus on that and make it your business? We have the stylish Madam Tisa here.
She always brings
Like,
the
she
fire
can
on
bring
the
up
show.
an outfit within seconds. So why not make that a business and just focus on it, because you enjoy it. You're like, Thabo, put that, and they're good.
This, I hope you got in that.
Focus on what you're
Another source of income.
A tip on how you can actually
coming soon.
generate money.
Coming
You can
soon.
start with me, I don't mind.
Yes, girl.
I really don't mind. And talking about if you cannot do something, get somebody to do it for you. A personal assistant. It's different from actually a stay-home maid, because this is someone whom you depend on to actually run your house when you're not there, even when you're not there. But a personal assistant is someone who is able to represent you in a certain way. Take your kids to school. If there's a complaint from school, go there, represent you as a parent. So these are small things which most people don't really take time and think about. But if you sit down, take your time, sketch it nicely, find a way in which you can actually come in and make it work for you, it can actually work for you. So personal assistant, it's not really very bad if you ask me. It's just something you just have to, come in strongly, make sure you know what you're doing, know the right people to target, and you'll be good to go. And also give yourself something to sustain yourself with.
Actually, being a personal assistant takes a lot of discipline and mastering, because I have to know your life.
Yes.
I have to literally live your life. So it takes a lot of people who make great personal assistants. They're very organized, they're good at time management, and so there's certain characteristics that come with it. Even let's say stay-home maids, they know your child better than you do. For some people, they heard the first word of your kid even before you heard yourself. So it's about finding what you can do and see how that can actually work for you. And there's so many things that you can do out there, but also don't be that jack of all trades. Don't be that person that does everything. At the end of the day, there should be personal branding. People should know you for something, because you need referrals, you need recommendations. When they hear it say, I need someone to style me, they should say Tisa. When they hear it say, I need somebody to talk about mental health, 10 people should say Thabo talks about mental health.
Yes.
So it has to be like that. So don't be a jack of all trades. Of course, you take some time to discover yourself, but once you find those things that work, hold on to them and build those things. Yeah.
Talking about personal branding and the fact that we're talking about entrepreneurship, shed more light, because people feel I can have what it takes inside, but I don't have to represent it outside. What do I mean? The way I dress, the way I talk, but you're forgetting that how you dress actually represents you. How you talk and carry yourself out there actually represent you. So people get it twisted sometimes. They say, I have it, I don't have to show it so much because it's in me. But that's a mismatch, because you also have to show it in the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, your dress code as well. Shed more light on dress code, because I know there's a mismatch around that dress code aspect.
I always believe you dress how you want to be addressed. So if you walk into a networking event where there are CEOs and you come in with flip-flops and the short, that's a wrong dress code already. And then you go to a farmer's event, and then you show up in a tie, 3-piece tie, briefcase. That's also misrepresentation. So you need to study your environment, you need to know where you're going, and you need to know how you want to be addressed. So people will first see you and then judge you. If you walked in a suit with a shoe, accountant or something, you walk in as a girl in a crop top, bum short, will say, maybe she's like a university, not knowing you're a CEO, you own a big business. So like people like what's his name, Mark Zuckerberg, who owns Facebook, he's always wearing a t-shirt, and you think he's gonna wear chains and stuff. So it's up to you, it's how you want people. But when you're growing up, when you're building yourself, there's a lot involved in representing yourself. Mark Zuckerberg can come with a t-shirt and make a speech to CEOs. Doesn't matter, he's made it. But now you're a young person, you're trying to build yourself. You care about what you wear, you care about how you sit, you care about how you speak, because now you're building a brand. And if you, let's say you want people to recommend you to speak at events, to talk to young people, they will say, no, that one doesn't dress well. The moment she walks in, the kids will think it's okay. So you're building yourself. So that thing of saying I can do whatever I want, I think it only comes at a certain stage when now money can talk for you.
Oh yeah, and your name as well.
Yes, and your name as well. But when you're trying to build yourself, you have to be disciplined, you have to be strict around yourself and what you're doing, how you present yourself, what you post on Facebook. There's always the aspect of whoever you are on Instagram, at church, on Facebook, and in person, they should resonate. Because you can't be, there are people who are loud on Facebook, but when you meet them in person,
So reserved.
so reserved. Yeah, so there's that aspect. Then people are like, but we saw you talk so much and we want you here, and you say I can't do this. So you need to think about it like that. Yeah.
But the people can manage very well exactly the way you see them on Facebook. It's what they are in person. So there you have it. I hope you were taking notes, because I have learned so much. I've been inspired. It was so good to have you on the show again.
Thank you so much. Always great
Hope
to
to
be
see
here.
you again soon.
Definitely.
And bring the fire. By the way, you look lovely.
Thank you. I knew Chisa was coming, so I was not going to undermine the situation.
No, you really look nice.
Thank
I
you.
love the handpiece you
Thank
have
you.
on.
Thank you very much. Thank
Very
you.
artistic. So there was Tao for you. I love this woman. She's my role model. Thabo. She clearly stated, if you can't do it yourself, find somebody to do it for you. Simple as that. You don't have to stress yourself. There's so many talented people out there who are willing to actually take up any particular task you give them. So be open-minded. Remember, people are willing, that's the first thing. People are struggling, that's the second thing. We all need money. I think that should be the first one.
That's the first number one. I know, I was going to say that. I'm
That
like,
should be the first one, you know?
Yes.
So think out of the box. Remember, people are willing. So coming back, Thabo, if you were to actually sum everything up, starting from the personal interest which somebody can actually develop, what should be the first thing after you identify what you want to do? From the personal interest, how should somebody grow now?
I think it all starts, we take it a little bit back. It all starts from you first understanding what you want to be in life.
Yes.
And I know for a long time, I became an economist because my father wanted an economist, but in the end, I fell in love with economics. But it's about discovering what you want to be in life. And sometimes discovering what you want to be in life is by talking to people who are walking the steps that you want to walk. So it's about mentorship. So you can identify certain mentors who you can talk to, find out what's it really like being a doctor. Not the way we watch it on TV, but in actual life. Like, what is it really like being a doctor?
Yeah.
What is it really like being a teacher? What is it really like being an accountant? So you start to learn the practical side of life and not what you learn from school or what you see on TV. So first you discover yourself. What do you want to be? What do you like? What don't you like? And once you discover the things that you're really, really good at, like I had said, if you're 20 and you think you're making mistakes, they're not mistakes, they're lessons. You need to go through certain stages of life. It's part of self-discovery. You win some, you lose some, but that's very important. And then when you get now, you're wrapping up to your 30s, now you know, I can't do this, but I can do this. So now you start to now shape yourself, and that's where personal branding comes in. So you get to understand what is Thabo good at, and what does she need to do to actually be perfect at it. So let's say I want to be having speaking engagements for corporate companies. It means my dress code has to change. It means the way I speak has to change. The people I hang out with has to change. The pictures that I post on social media have to change. I can't post certain pictures because then they will not reflect that seriousness in me that the business or the corporate side is looking for. So now if I want to work with children, how do I have to dress? What sort of movies do I have to watch? I have to watch a lot of Sophia and understand how their mind works. Yes. When they tell you, oh, this balloon, I have to see the balloon even if it's not there. So you need to start training your mind to be what you want to be. And that's why even as you are growing, whatever you're posting on social media, whatever networking events you attend, and I know people like to attend all sorts of events, you don't even know who the speaker is, so you do your research. Who's speaking? What am I going to learn from it? You should always value your time. Wherever you go, whether you're hanging out with your friends, you should ask yourself, from these people I hang out with, what have I learned from them? Are they the ones benefiting from me, or I'm the one benefiting from them? So you plan your time and you see how that is going to help you develop into the person you need to be. And then do a lot of research, do some reading. I know our reading culture, but of late has actually improved. Read books. Go on YouTube, watch some videos about people, inspirational people, because certain things we think it's hard to make it in life. We think no one struggled, but when you listen to their stories, like Les Brown, Les Brown was labeled as the dumbest kid in class, but look at him now. He's making money. Even people like different type of people on social media talk about Oprah. Oprah was raped when she was young, but you take your circumstances and use them to fire you up to be a different person. So it's about making a decision to say, this is where I am now, but this is not where I need to be. I need to push myself towards what I need to be. And then once you decide that, now even everybody, even the people who text you, be saying, Tisa, no. Tisa wants to go shopping, so I can't do this. So you start to shape yourself like that. And then when you bring in the income part, how you manage your income, so now you know where you want to go. So you know what to spend on. You will not spend on simple chews. I know you have your cravings for your seafood.
I always do.
You have your cravings, but then you're looking at the bigger picture. You will survive without the seafood. If you can have your nshima, your beans, you're good with it. So you know where money should go and where money shouldn't go. But also we've talked about us having a little money on the side that is just ours for your fun money. You want to have fun, you want the nice food, but discipline yourself to tell yourself, Thabo, I paid you and the money is done. And what is left is for the business. And when you borrow from the business, I always call it borrowing, because you're actually borrowing. You need to take it back. If you don't take it back, you've stolen from yourself. You're stealing from your future that you're trying to build for yourself. So we should always think about it that way. Yeah.
I always get inspired. That's a statement that always comes out of my mouth whenever she speaks. I always
There's
get
always so
inspired.
much to learn, and you're just like, can we go on? Can we do another hour?
I wish we can. I really do wish we can. Thank you so much, Thabo. You look lovely by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, the
Thank
dress is
you.
matching very
Thank
well.
you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And also, I think, like I said earlier, you need to visit Cher's Cafe. It's beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
actually one of my favorite places to eat from. I had my birthday here last year, and I think I've managed to bring a couple of people to have their birthdays here. It's like one of the best places to be. They have a nice pool, they
Yeah.
have great drinks, and their staff are completely friendly. But the food is to die for.
The emphasis on the food.
Yes,
It's my
no.
first time here.
You
and I
need to
love
have
it.
their pepper steak and mash. That's like my to-go
your
to
go-to?
meal. Yes.
I think I
yes,
need to
yes.
come back on a different day and just have
No,
the
you
same.
definitely should. Definitely should.
Thank you so much once again. Tisa, do you have any last remarks to make?
But you know what the Bembas say when the big people speak? Don't say too much after them. You're going to ruin
You
it.
know, you need to take it in properly. guys.
Exactly. And whenever she's come, like you say, whenever she's on set, we learn so much, and you just bring insight to things that we think we know, but then you just. It's always good to have you here. It's
Thank
always
you.
good to
No,
learn.
I'm always humbled to share whatever it is I can share. I'm not perfect, so at least if I can share some of my journeys, I can make
Yes.
somebody else not make the same mistakes that I made.
Exactly. And talking about having Thabo on the show, we're going to be having an announcement soon. So be on the lookout. We're having her on the show with something different, something unique,
And exciting as well.
very educating. So be on the lookout. Look out on our social medias, and we'll be putting out an announcement very soon. Yeah. So be on the lookout.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. So from us, you know our slogan, I'm sure you do. Or maybe you
Just in case it has changed,
No, it
because
hasn't.
Tisa is always evolving every now and then.
Such an
No, but for the slogan, it hasn't. So
No.
okay. Good to go. So from us, Ubuntu family, it's
Achanapo.
And there you had it. Just so much fun today. A first which we have not seen in a long time. But I was so excited, learned a lot today, and I hope you did this as well. It is so good to know that you were watching. Thank you for the comments. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and also, if you wanna come on the show for that lovely episode where we have a little bit of gossip and all that, please do so. Remember to also like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time. And also from us, it's Achanapo.